All this week I have come to the House floor for a very special purpose. I have offered only some of the reasons that the residents who live in the nation's capital should have the same basic rights as other Americans. All other Americans have achieved these rights through statehood. No others who pay taxes, federal taxes, obviously we pay local taxes, but no others who pay federal taxes and who have served in our wars are denied their basic rights in our country. This, of course, is an embarrassment to the country itself, but today it is far more serious. It is a violation of international law and a treaty that we have signed. Last month, the UN Human Rights Committee issued its report for 2014. Its report called our country to account on the denial of national voting rights in the national legislature for the residents of the District of Columbia. In other words, the United States government is in violation of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. That is a treaty that our country signed in 1992. The UN report recommended provide full voting rights for the residents of Washington, D.C. I would venture to say that you will not find an American citizen who does not agree that before the Congress can impose any burden on you, you ought to have the right to raise your hand, yea or nay. Moreover, this is not the first time that the United Nations has called our country to account. Earlier, in 2006, the Human Rights Committee wrote, "The committee, having taken note of the responses provided by the delegation," that means the United States delegation to the UN, "heard their responses and said, remains concerned that the residents of the District of Columbia do not enjoy full representation in Congress. A restriction does not seem to be compatible with Article 25 of the Covenant." And then it cited Articles 2, 25, and 26. Article 2, and I won't quote from the entire article, says, "Adopt such laws or other measures as may be necessary to give effect to the rights recognized in the present covenant." That covenant is a treaty we signed in 1992, to which we are by human rights and international law bound. Article 25, it says that that right includes the right to take part in the conduct of public affairs directly or through freely chosen representatives. In our country, we do not have direct democracy. You do it through freely chosen representatives who get to vote on this floor. The residents of the District of Columbia get to choose me, but I do not get to vote even on matters affecting their local concerns. Article 25 also says to have access on general terms of equality to public service in this country. The residents have access to public service. I serve as a member of Congress, but we do not have that right in terms, quote, of equality, because I cannot vote once I become the member chosen to exercise that service. Moreover, let me note that when my party was in power, using House rules, I was given the right to vote for the residents of the District of Columbia on matters coming to the so-called Committee of the Whole. Imagine, after getting a right that is not the full right to vote even on most matters in this chamber, when my Republican colleagues came to power, they took even that right, the right to vote in the Committee of the Whole, from the people of the District of Columbia. Is that, my friends, equality? Or is that discrimination against the residents of your own nation's capital? The report refers also to Article 26. That's worth quoting. All persons are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to the equal protection of the law. In this respect, the law shall prohibit any discrimination and guarantee all persons equal and effective protection against discrimination on any ground. Then they name some, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, and here's the one that applies to us, or other status. What is the other status of the residents of the District of Columbia? Their status is that they reside in their nation's capital, the only nation in the world that denies the residents of their capital the same rights that the residents in their country enjoy.